Hey, what's up, team? Eddie Gray here. I'm here to talk to you about Yurt Rock. This is a new up-and-coming company, has the most incredible sounding samples. I'm very picky with my sample sets, and I have been able to really extract some good stuff from their libraries. So I just wanted to go ahead and just show you a quick workflow with samples from Yurt Rock. So here's what I'm working with right now. So everything except the clav is from Yurt Rock. I mean, these drums sound absolutely incredible. And check out this bass sample. All right, so I'll just start off by probably doing the easiest thing, which is to add a little bit of reverb to the sax. I really like east-west. I also like this well-known reverb. Let's see how this complements it. I know some would argue that you should put this on the bus, but you know what? If it works, it works. So here we go. All right, the decay is a little too long for my taste. Let's bring that back. Here we go. Here we go. Good. So we'll low cut just to make sure we don't have too much noise, and then high cut to make sure there's not too much of that air in there. All right, so that's a good first choice. The next thing I'm going to want to do is take these drums and then just add a lot of air. So we'll just implement some New York compression. I'll double click right here to instantiate a compressor. Here I'll probably use an opto or an FET. I'll use some clip distortion. All right, let's see how this behaves. And then right before or after the compressor, I'm going to add a kind of smiley face. So I'm going to do a low shelf, a high shelf, and you'll have this again, it kind of looks like a smiley face. Maybe this could be down a little bit more as well. Let me increase the Q. Okay, so we're essentially adding low and high end. Let's see what this sounds like. We're just listening to the drums right now. So this is before. All right, let's see if we change the order of this, if it affects it, impacts it negatively or positively. So before. Yeah, so I would say that's a bump in production. So let's hear what we got thus far. Okay, so all that is good. At this point, I'll just add a little bit of compression to the bass just to kind of keep everything nice and still. Here we go. Okay, and I'll just let that auto release take care of the rest for me. So from here, I want to add some material. And I'll go back to the samples here, and I'm just auditioning some of the tom sounds. And just do one at a time. And this time I'll just do a quick sampler original. It's just going to sample at face value. Let's listen to this. Yeah, okay, cool. So there's different ways to add fills. I'll use the pattern format just to kind of change up the normal workflow. And let me think about where this is going to come in. Maybe like right there would be a good place. So let's think about this. It's going to go 1, 2, 3. So let's see if we can just add a quick, no, not right there. I'm thinking about this guy. So let's see. I'm going to just go 4 at the end here. Let's see what this sounds like. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Good. We could then take the floor tom, do a similar kind of thing. Again, I'll just go original. The difference between original and optimize is that optimize is going to create a loop point for you. It's going to detect silence. It does a little bit more work on the back end. Okay, so let's listen to this. Okay, good. So then what I'll do is I'll just take the information from here and I will convert this to MIDI. I'll get rid of the last two because I actually like that fill. And all right, let's see what this. Okay, and then I'll just erase that first note from there. Here we go. Okay, so for the floor tom, I'll probably pan it, say 48% to the right. And then with these, I'll use a little bit of that parallel compression that we used earlier. All right, good. Another hack that you could do is edit the samples themselves. So we see that we have a fill here. So I'm just going to duplicate using Command R inside of Logic. So let's go ahead and just check out that fill. Good. And then just to kind of give it a little bit more realism, I'll increase the gain of this one. I'll grab the region inspector float here and I'll double click and increase it by 3 decibels. Let's see what this sounds like. All right, it's probably a little bit too high. Let's go 2. And I'll split the difference 1.5. Okay, so you can see how I'm customizing these loops to make them my own. I got a nice little tom fill. I could then drag this over a little bit later. Maybe I'll add some extra hits here. Let's see what that sounds like. Nice. And of course, if you want to add more, you always can, right? This game kind of never ends in that regard. So why don't I go ahead and change this up? So I'll go here into the step sequencer and I'll create an automation row and I'm looking to change pan. Okay, so I will turn on pan. I'm only going to need it really here and there. And so I'll open up the sub rows and then I'll change the value. Is it going to be on the left channel or the right channel? And then the purpose of this one right here, the reason that I've created an additional one here at the beginning is because it's going to reset the value of the last modified value here. So then now it's back to the middle, just in case, right? It's always good to kind of take that precautionary measure. So let's hear this. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, and you should probably look at the pan knob to see how it moves. So you could see it's panning over to the right then the left. Check it out again. All right, so I actually want to do the opposite of that. I want this to be left, left, and then right, right. Cool. All right, let's see what that sounds like in context. Nice. So now we can use automation from the step sequencer. So that's pretty sweet. I want to try and hack a bass line. So I have another loop off screen. It sounds like this. So it's at 92 beats per minute. This is at 90. So let's use a hack here. I'm going to go to adapt tempo. We'll go to keep tempo. And then inside of the settings in Logic, I'm going to say, hey, when I import a file, can you do something to make sure that it fits into the scheme of my song? In which case, I'm going to grab it now. I'll drag it into the session, and it should conform. Let's check. We're going to turn on the metronome, key command K, and let's see if this actually fits the mold. Okay, it fits quite nicely. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and create a hack between 2 different sample sets. So I think probably the easiest way of doing this right now is just to find the fills that I really like and then kind of go from there. So I'm going to edit these. Okay, I kind of like that first fill, so I'm going to kind of chop that up. Let's see what else we got. Maybe from here on, listen to this. Yeah, da-na-na-na, and perhaps there was another note or two. Yeah, that's actually a really nice line. In fact, I'll just dedicate myself to one or the other, right? Sometimes you just gotta commit. And so I'll take this and then I'll just drag it to that track and let's see how this sounds. It may or may not work. Let's call this bass licks. All right, let's see. All right, so it was okay. Probably could fit better elsewhere. So let's keep listening. Okay, so I'm going to try and see if I could fit it in here somehow. In order to really pull this off, I'm just going to add some of that same parallel compression that we've been using just so I can hear it. I may or may not use it for the end product. Okay, so I dig that. Let's see if this works. They kind of sound like they're not out of tune, but maybe they're playing different basses or what have you. So let's see. I went up a half step. I don't think this is gonna work, but let's listen. Actually, I think it worked out quite well. Let's listen to it in context here. Yeah, it actually worked quite nicely. I was actually gonna use fine tune. I thought that would probably help the cause here, but it actually worked out nicely. All right, so then you can kind of add bass fills in that regard. Let's say, I don't know, maybe you just wanted to do something different and add your own fills. You could take the information here and then create a sampler zone per note. And this is new to 10.6, I believe, where now we're taking the various samples inside of the source and we're creating an entire sampler instrument. So let's see what we got. Okay. Okay, so let me see if I could use a little bit of this in the course of this track. All right, good. So I played it in. I didn't record it, but of course we can use capture recording, which is here at the top of the screen. We can also just hit Shift R, and that'll give us the information that we just played back. And so, of course, this is not quantized yet. Let's go into the region inspector, and I'll just do 16th notes. Let's see if this actually is gonna work. Let's see. Yeah, it sounds actually really good. It sounds really convincing, doesn't it? And so that's part of what we're going to do when we start to utilize samples. For whatever reason, maybe you're just not good enough yet, so you use the sounds to get you there. Look, there's a lot of people that have music in their heads, and they're very capable, but the technology is what's hampering them. And so I just want to encourage you not to be afraid. What we should be concerned with is the fact that a lot of people are going to be using samples in general, and we have to find a way to just kind of hack and work the system. Okay? All right, let's try this out. Yeah, so that's a nice little fill that just wasn't possible before. Maybe we could have hacked it by editing, but anyway, there's something else for you there. Let's see if we can come up with anything else. Maybe we'll just find a simple crash just to kind of... Okay, I'll start with that one. We'll drag that in. And so you could obviously use the samples inside of Logic or any DAW, but you have to remember, these are high caliber musicians recording the material in a very meticulous, detailed way with the most expensive programs and hardware possible. And so sometimes you just have to use the tech and use this time to aid you. For example, I'm currently writing an album for a publisher to write 12 songs in order to cash in on it. And so that takes a tremendous amount of effort if you're doing everything from scratch. So you can see my reasoning here. All right, let's listen to this cymbal right then. right, good. And in the case of the sax, yeah, the possibilities are limitless, guys. I mean, just such great samples. Here, I'll just show you a couple more before we get out of here. Yeah, you're not going to find genuine upright samples like that anywhere. Let's see if we can let's check these out real quick. Those sound really good, actually. I think the samples I was referring to were Bob Reynolds. Let me see if yeah, okay. So these are the ones by the sax player. So let's see, I'm in the key of, I believe this is D. So let's see if we could find anything in D. So let's play some of this stuff. So much good stuff here. It's almost like, how do I make the most of this? So here, let's try out another technique. See, the BPM of these are at 90. So again, I'm going to use keep tempo, and this time I'm going to hack the system a little bit. I'm going to use a take folder to see if I can perhaps try and create some variation on this theme. So let's see, we're going to create new tracks. These are not from one project necessarily, so I'm not going to use this feature down here, but I will create new tracks. Logic is going to analyze the transients and get this to work in the context of my song. Let's make sure flex and follow is on. It is. Okay, so then from here, my good friends, I'm going to create a selection by holding shift. I will click here and I will, let's see, go to folder, and then we'll create a take folder. So even though we're using this in a very kind of unorthodox way, this can actually help in terms of the creative process. So let's go ahead and mute this sax, and let's see if we can come up with something a little bit different here. Okay, that sounds okay. Let's see if there's anything else. I kind of like that line, so maybe we can kind of, let's see, do something like this. All right, let's listen to that. Okay, let me do this. Okay, so let's just pretend this was something that I was really working with. So I'm going to bring this up now, and then I'll try and find a nice blend between the original and this one. So obviously, in the case of track number 2, I'm going to unmute that, and let's see how this plays out. Okay, so this is sounding pretty good. Let's just kind of finish off here by flattening and merging this quote-unquote performance, and then editing this so it really fits. Now, of course, we want to use our snap to grid to really make this work. So let's see if I can maybe move this over. Let's see if this sounds okay. Maybe we'll have to use divisions to nudge. Okay, I'll nudge it one more time. Okay, so this is a little bit off the grid then. So now I'm going to go to ticks, and I'm just dragging it. Okay, actually, I like this. Now this is taking too long to get to the next place. In this case, you could now use the drag mode X fade to create a proper crossfade, or you could do it manually. Okay, so this is sounding good, but I need this to stretch out a little bit more. Okay, so the way that I'm going to pull that off is by hovering over the bottom of this region right here, okay, and then holding Option and dragging out. Bear in mind, this does follow the rules of snap to grid, so I'm making sure that I am off the grid by being on ticks. All right, team, I hope you enjoy that video. Go ahead and check out Yurt Rock when you get the chance. I believe they have some of the cleanest, most professionally sampled instruments in the entire world. So I just wanted to make sure that I brought that to your attention. If you're liking the content, as always, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Many, many thanks. We will catch you on the next one. Cheers.